Hey buddies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today I'm bringing you how to set up, play and review the game Leonardo da Vinci Codex Leicester. This is the newer version of Leonardo da Vinci. It has been designed, or in fact been published, let's start off with that, by Dice Tree Games. And it's designed by this particular version is by Charon Back, who happens to be the owner, I believe, of Dice Tree Games. Initially published and put out by 4 different Italian designers, well known for Agesia. They do have a collective name, I can't recall what that is, but they're known individually as Flaminia Brassini, Virginia Gili, Stefano Roberto, and Antonio Tinto. We happen to be in the Middle Ages, in the time of Leonardo da Vinci, and we're looking to build ourselves inventions. We're looking to then sell those inventions and get florins. The person with the most florins wins over the course of 7 rounds. So in this particular game, it's a worker placement game. It has a kind of bidding, a bit of, definitely resource management, and a little bit of area control in some respects as well. Now, I've kind of set the game up as a 2-player game, but that's just to show you there's a few extra steps to do. And that's basically to make sure that when you're bidding, you're not just bidding against somebody else. There is a kind of a third player who's getting in your way. I've left out red to show basically an extra player. I'm happening to be playing as purple in this game, which I played in the last game. Everybody's going to take 2 florins, that's 2 money, each in a 2-player game, 3 in any other player counts. And everybody is going to take 4 of these starting cards. You're then going to look and see what you can get. For example, I get myself some glass, any resource and a florin. I can get myself 3 florins and a wood, etc. I can get some rope. We also happen to have ore, we happen to have brick, and we happen to have something else I hadn't seen. So wood, we've seen glass, and we've seen some rope down here. And what we're looking to do is basically trying to get inventions built. So first off, we're deciding who is going first, and once we've done that, the person who's going second is going to basically be choosing which of these inventions we want to be building. So you might choose to go, well, I'm going to declare to build one of these buildings. Now, in terms of setup, this is the 1 to 3 side of the board. 4 to 5 is on the other side. It's an identical board, apart from a few more card spaces, and location I, which is a bank, which allows you to get more stuff. In a 2-player game, we're placing out 2 of these tiles. A third one can go out as well in a 3-player game, but only 1 person can claim this in a 2-player game. In a 3-player game, 2 are available, etc. And if I'm starting, that determines I'm starting, and I can choose to go first or second. In future rounds, especially with more players, if I choose to, not keep my position, but go over here, if someone happens to be here, they maintain their position. So first off, let's talk about declaring. Imagine my opponent's already declared, I've left them out of shot. I then see these various items I can choose to try and build. However, in the future era, this is the present era, this is the future, this is the epic era, you can always declare and try and build anything, but these ones will not resolve until they've moved into the present, at which point one of these cards would have been built and they will shuffle along by 1, and then a new card is revealed. The cost to build is based on weeks, so this takes 7 weeks to build, so it's basically in some respects 7 turns, but I'll talk to you how that works. You can speed it up, that's a big part of the game, and you can only ever have 1 11-week building that can be built, or item, in a 2-player game, but in a 3-player game it can be, 2 of them can be 11s. Okay, if you have meant to shuffle and draw 11, just put it at the bottom of the deck or something and go again. So let's just say I'm happy to declare, and I've got some resources that I've started off with, let's say. And by the way, in terms of resources and money, it's always hidden behind your little vanity board, so you can never actually see what anyone else has got because you're going to try to compete over stuff. So I can see this one, it gives me free work, basically a free build. I put my hammer on here, it's going to cost me 7 work. So now I'm based this onto 7 to show that it's going to take me 7 weeks to build. Now, in this instance, I might choose to try and build something else as well. Let's say I build this one, which again is declaring that I'm trying to build this one. Building it first is good. You get the thing on the left, which is 8 florins, so that's 8 victory points. And if you happen to build it second or third, fourth or fifth, then you're going to get 7 victory points or money, but you will not get the bonus on the card. Everybody still benefits from the symbol. Symbols are important because at the end of the game, if you've got 2 different ones, you're going to get 3 florins, etc. If you have all the same, then that's bonuses as well. And if somebody takes that first card, you're going to leave, or your opponents are going to leave their marker on there. As when they complete it, they're going to get the same symbol from the starting cards we saw earlier. They're now used for these things instead. So in this case, you're going to get yourself a jug for completing this one. So what we're going to do now is think about how we take our turns. So right now, let's say I do have these resources. I just want to try and speed along and complete it. Well, let's show you where I can go. I can go up here. How do you go up here? We start off with 3 workers and a master. That represents basically 1 influence. This represents 2. On your turn, you can place up 1 or more of your workers. But if you place out a worker here, you cannot later then place out another worker. Whereas with a master, they can go before or after, like so. So currently in a 2-player setup, this person is always going to be ahead of me. So I need to try and outdo myself there, in which case I might put down a second worker. In which case I currently have the majority. Then that's important because it's only going to cost me 0 money to go first. Second player is going to pay 2. If they pass, then I can pay 2. I can then pay 3 if I want to, and I can then pay 4, etc. The other advantage of going here is I get to take a bonus, which is either give me 1 florin, or the other one which gives me 2 work immediately, so this can bump along by 2. And anything that doesn't get taken into the round, let's have a florin added to them. Once 2 florins are added, after that, the whole tile and the money is discarded. And you're going to replenish them with new ones from here until the stack runs out, and then you're going to go again. So that is trying to get basically turn order influence and a bonus tile, which could be important, because if you happen to go first twice, then this moves along, that comes off, and you get a benefit of 1 florin, and little cube is going to go up here. So this means any automatas you've got, which help you speed up production, they flip over to be rather 1, they're worth 2 works to bump along. I'll show you how that works. This one allows you to basically get things cheaper. For works, 5 florin, any 2 resources. You do not have to pay workers in rounds 3 and 5 and 7. Over here, 2 works you've seen already, and over here, similar, whereby you can get 2 florins if you happen to be building 2 different kind of symbols. So that's something you can build. This one over here, get out all your apprentices, which give you a bonus. Over here, this one gives you, once you complete an epic, you also get to bump down here as well. And of course, you're getting another bonus, etc. So get 2 of the same symbols, this comes out too. This keeps shuffling along, allows you to get an extra apprentice out, or happens to get automata. So if you could do the apprentice here, it must be automata here, that's what this is for. Recess boards, you might notice, quickly tell you about the components. Excellent quality, these are quite chunky and hefty. And obviously lovely little trays it comes with as well. And little, obviously, things saying dice tray on them as well. So that is going to A. Now we can go over here to the laboratory. And what this lets us do is either get ourselves out a little extra work area, which can go on here. And the reason why I want to do this is like the red ones fits here, which if you can see, is where the automatas are, which is where they can live. There's a maximum they can be out there. So let's go there. Again, you need to be a majority to do so, and of course pay the cost if you wish to. Or you can spend a florin to bump yourself along one. So in this case, I was building this one over here and this one over here. So my pincer goes onto the 4 position. And imagine I've paid some florins, that now bumps along to, let's say, 1 or something, which gets resolved later, but let me show you how it works. Over here, get yourself an apprentice, which allows you to take more actions. And over here, this allows you to pay a coin to get resource, which is what you're going to need. Over D, gives you ore, wood, glass, brick, and rope. And that's resolving that. So now I'm going to resolve in order to do everything. And as soon as you happen to get this to meet here, which might take you a couple of rounds or 3 or whatever, you immediately say, look, I've completed this. You're going to take this card. That's going to go back on your board. Again, anybody else's one is going to stay in front of you on there, like the pincer or hammer for that person. You're going to get yourself your money and you're going to get immediate bonus, which in my case might be to bump this one along by 1 to try and time it correctly. Of course, you do need to spend your resources. Resources will now be shown from behind your screen, or you could have left them on here as well to declare them, which generally speaking you don't need to do, but it's something to be aware of. This all moves along. Now you could have been declaring by putting this on here, and you could complete it, but you won't be able to actually resolve it until it's the present row. So it's something worth looking into doing, but it's up to you to decide that. And that's how it's going to go. We're going to move into round 2. No major change here. For round 3, you're going to have to spend a florin for any extra worker after the first 3, unless, of course, you have bumped up this one, which means you don't pay for the next 2 people you have. So if you have up to 5, it won't cost you anything extra. Over here, this comes out and covers B, which means you're paying more money to get 2 works. Over here, you now also have to get a discount, also you have to pay again for your workers, like with round 3. So again, if I've got 4 and I haven't taken that bonus, it's going to cost me 1 florin. In round 6, then again, it's trying to encourage you to build again. Now you get the action instead as well. On to round 7, then again, building apprentices, it's going to cost you more money, and that's something to be aware of too. You can also start selling resources in the final round if you go here, so you can get 2 florins for selling a resource, etc. And then in the end, you're going to see your final score. You're going to reveal any florins you've got. Again, you would have been completing these as you go. When you complete epic ones as well, they always have coins in them too. So in this case, for this symbol, if you happen to have those, you can get 2 florins for each of that particular symbol. If you have a complete set of 4, 7, 11 weeks, you're going to get yourself 4 coins. If you happen to also get certain infinity cards, you're going to get 3 points as well. And that's the game. So what do I think of it? Well, it is quite bland artwork. But in some respects, I wish it would pop slightly more. I know Hand of Teutonica is something it could be compared to, but the Crown of Amara, it does have a slightly more pop to it. I think that could work in its favour, but if it goes any more garish, I think it would distill away from it. And having quite a bland feel actually encourages play in some respects, because it lets you just concentrate on the game and not get distracted. The gameplay is fine. As for the rulebook, let's quickly talk about that. It does say it's been translated and professionally translated, but there's lots of gaps. Even some words have just got spaces in them, which is a bit odd, like literally within the word. And some phrases are duplicated, so very disappointing and from that perspective. It's been quite annoying. Rating, and then I'll come back on to a few more bits. The rating code so far is, for me, a 7.6, which is higher than average, which is a 6.4. I would say that my rating is very much in line with other people, so I do recommend it in terms of a euro. It doesn't take too long as well. It's quite snappy. Sometimes it feels like it takes a while to get going, but these are variable positions as well. There's a total of 8 different patron things you can take, and again, everybody can work on them. Everything is open information apart from, of course, your resources and your florins, and that kind of gives you a good gist of what's going on, but I wish it could be clearer. I also wish all the cards information, all the patron information, and all the tile information was in a separate player aid, which everybody can just pass around, rather than trying to find, which can be quite difficult and quite time consuming. I love these dual layer boards. I think these automatons are quite fun. So again, if you happen to be over here, let's say, and I happen to be building, what I can choose to do is, let's say I've got this out, I can choose to work instead by going here, which case, in this case, if I happen to be over here, let's say, I move across one position, so I can work here rather than going out here. However, if I've got an automata there, the very first time I put someone on there, it moves one for me and one of the automata. If I bring down another person, that doesn't trigger again. However, with that flipping over one, again, it goes twice for the first one. And there's another thing you can do instead is with a master, it moves 2. Again, with an automata, it'll move 4. So it'll move 1 plus this represents 2 workers. So it's going to move 2, completing things quicker. Only 2 things you can work on at the same time, but it is quite interesting. Lovely pieces, high production quality, apart from the rulebook, which could have a few more examples. Again, you're working out influence, so I go first, they would go second, but if they pass, I can go again until a maximum of 4 actions are taken. Very fun with the cubes, the coins, and how that's victory points, but you're spending them to try and get more money. Lots more fun with trying to get set collection, generally competing over different stuff, keeps it quite tight. I do recommend a high player counts though. Any questions, talk to me again via YouTube, especially in the comments section for errata. Check out the description. Also, link through to Facebook, Instagram, the podcast, Patreon, and many other things. For now, back to the table.